Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for Hello.
Is it just me, or has the sound cut off completely?
The sound cut off completely.
Yeah, okay.
No problem.
I think I'm
Kashan,
back.
you can
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. So I'll be the one moderating today's event, and we have with us here Winston Colley, and it will be presenting study group pathways, all the international study centers that study group has. And we hope that you listen carefully, and after the presentation, there will be question and answer period. So you can ask your questions by either raising your hands, or you can just put them in the chat box, and be rest assured that they will all be answered. So I'll pass it on to Winston now to start the presentation. Thank you, Winston.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. And I appreciate you all taking the time out today to come and listen to this presentation. I believe there's been other presentations as well. So if you've joined those, I hope you've enjoyed them, and also the future ones as well. I hope you enjoy those as well. These are really good sessions that Newbie put on. So the information is very key, and it will help you in regards to making your decisions as to whether or where you want to study and what type of university you want to study, as well as what type of program you may want to study as well in terms of your options. So as mentioned, my name is Winston. I am a student recruitment manager for Study Group. I've been working in education industry for over 5 years now. So I'm quite well versed in terms of some of the questions that you're probably going to ask in terms of studying. I mainly focus on the UK and EU market. However, with Study Group, we do also offer programs in other destinations like US, Australia, etc., which I'm going to go through a bit in my presentation today. All right. So if I just go through just who Study Group is, because many of you probably are not aware of Study Group. You'll know certainly the university, some of the universities you work with, but you're probably not aware of Study Group. So essentially, we are a pathway provider. We're one of the leading pathway providers in the world. Pathway, I'll talk you through what that means a little bit later. But generally, we have a range of partners across the world where we support US students to be able to go and study there. Okay, we've been operating for over 25 years, supporting our students and helping them. And we have more than 30 universities that we work with globally. A majority of those are in the UK, so that's where our major part of our universities are. But as mentioned earlier, we do have partners in the US, Australia, and in some of Europe as well. In terms of the type of universities that we target, we tend to go for those universities that are generally quite high ranked, or ones that are really good in a particular subject. So we really focus on the student experience and the quality of the education that you're going to get when you go and study at one of our partners, okay? Now, we work with more UK universities in the top 20 than any other pathway provider. So you will be probably seen or hear or speak to or even do some research on other pathway providers. And you may want to know the differences is just that with Study Group, we generally work with the ones that are high ranked as mentioned, in not just top 20, the top 50 as well. We do partner with those universities, okay? Now, in terms of the type of quality of teaching, some of the things that you may want to look out for is the TEF Gold ranking, which is the Teaching Excellence Framework ranking that universities get awarded. This is based on a quality of education in terms of the academics as well that are teaching at the university. So there's different ones you get awarded, like silver, gold are the key ones. 6 of our UK universities that we collaborate with are awarded gold for teaching excellence. So we do try to tend to focus on that side of things, as well as the outcomes. Because when you go and study abroad, it's not just about looking at the university and degree, it's about what's the outcome. You're investing a lot of money, so you want to know what is your return in investment, or if your parents are paying for it, what's your parents' return in investment? So you want to make sure you go to one of those ones that does focus on the outcomes, like your careers, where you're going to go, what's the plan beyond your studies within the university as well. So in terms of the UK, so as mentioned, I do focus heavily on the UK. Why is the UK one of the destinations? Now, I know you're probably looking at other ones like US, Australia, etc. So with the UK, a couple of the key things about the UK and why it's a popular destination and one of the top destinations for international students is, first of all, the quality of the universities. They are generally all world-renowned universities. The degrees from a UK higher education provider are respected worldwide. There's a wide range of subjects that you can choose from as well. So it's not just specific only focused universities. You've got general subjects as well that you can choose from within the UK. And also just in terms of employers worldwide, they do see a degree from a British university. It does look really good on your CV and your resume for when you're starting to apply as well. One of the key things that a lot more universities are incorporating is that side of your outcomes. I'm sure you would have heard more about the post-study work visa. I'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later on this slide, but there's some of those things a lot of universities are focusing on because that is a key part of studying in the UK as well now, okay? Now, generally, no matter what industry or location you're going to be studying or joining beyond education, just having a qualification from the UK is really great on your resume, as mentioned, because of how the quality of teaching is and the standard as well from what we provide or what the UK provides to students. Very multicultural environment. So in the UK in general is quite a multicultural country. Obviously, some cities are more multicultural than others, but it is a very multicultural country. Very popular for international students, as mentioned, and it's the second most popular destination for overseas students in the world. Now, in terms of that statistics, that second is based on the volume of students that go. Now, obviously, the US is a bigger country, it's a bigger country than the UK, obviously, and it has a lot more universities. So they've got over 3,000 higher education institutions, whereas UK only has approximately around 130 registered higher education institutions. So you would tend to see that more students go to the US. But in terms of if you're looking at it by percentage-wise, UK would be ranked #1 rather than if you're just looking at the volume-wise. So there's a great mix of students from or people, not just students, people that generally move over to the UK just to migrate, start a family, going there for work, etc. So it is really supportive in that sense, since they brought in, or more so since they brought in the post-study work visas as well. Now, the work opportunities and dependence. So as an international student, you can work up to 20 hours a week during term time. If you're doing a foundation program, then you can work up to 10 hours a week during term time. But then when you're doing outside of term time, it's full-time hours. So on your student visa, you can actually work whilst you're in the UK as well. So you can take on a part-time job or like an internship if you want to, just to develop your skills and just to earn a little bit more money to help support with your studies, like your academics, like buying some books, etc., to help you along the way, so you can work whilst you're studying on the visas. And in addition, for those students that are doing postgraduate programs that have families on a visa, so on a student visa, if you're doing a master's program that's more than 9 months, or a postgraduate program more than 9 months, sorry, then you can actually travel with your dependents. So you can get a visa on as part of you, be like a sponsor on your visa for your dependents as well. So these are a couple of the key things why the UK is a really popular destination for international students. Just touching on the postgraduate study work visa as well. So when you graduate, so as of 2021, if you graduate from a UK university with a degree or master's or any program from a UK university that's more than 9 months, when you graduate, you are able to apply for a 2-year post-study work visa. So this would allow you to be able to stay in the UK, remain 2 years after you actually completed your studies, where you can do like voluntary work or working like an internship or something. And then later on, if you get a full-time job, you can start to look for like a work visa, an official work visa, and eventually apply for citizenship in the future as well. So those are some of the key things that supports you, or the UK as a great destination for international students. Now, I know there's a few messages coming in the chat. I can't see them right now, but anyone that does and have any questions, just make sure you do put them in the chat and I'll be able to answer them at the end of the presentation. So moving on to our university partners. So across the UK and Europe, we've got a range of partners that we support or that we help support you to study at. As you can see, some of them are highlighted there, like Cardiff, Aberdeen, Durham, which is one of the highest ranked universities, Huddersfield. We've got a few universities in London like Kingston, Surrey, Royal Holloway. There's a great range of universities that you can apply to, all offering various different programs to support you in terms of your future career and your future endeavors, okay? They're all dotted about different parts of the UK. So you can see at the top of the slide, we've got our 2 universities located in Scotland, and then we've got that cluster that's in the central UK, which is the north of England, which is generally a popular destination for most international students because the cost of living is a lot more affordable in central UK, or the further north you get closer to Scotland, the more cheaper it is to live, basically. And then you've got your ones in and around London, one in Wales, and then your one in the South Coast, which is like your Sussex. I'll go through each of these universities, so I'll skim over those for you just to give you some of the key points about each university. But as I know, the presentation is only meant to last like 45 minutes to an hour. So if you have any further deeper questions or you want to know more about a particular university or more information, you can always speak to the team at Newbie who can help you with your options. So now talking about our partnership with these universities now. So as mentioned, Study Group, we are a partner of the university. So we are technically the university, but we provide the pathway programs. So through our partnership and our pathway, we do this via an international study center, which is located on the campus at the university. Now, there are 3 core types of programs that we do. So it's the foundation, the international year 1 and pre-masters. I'll talk to you a little bit more in detail about those programs, but I'm just going to share this quick presentation of some of our students, just talking about what an international study center is to give you an idea. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that my sound is being shared. Press play.
Coming to an international study centre, you get the opportunity to study at your own pace and to study everything that you need to get yourself ready for that university. So we have the foundation programs. In some centres, we also have the international year 1 programs, and we have pre-masters as well for students who are that little bit further on in their educational journey.
The teachers here at the ISC, they are amazing. They're really helpful. They really want to see you do well, and that's why I love it here personally. What I like about my course is that it helps me with the studies, and as well as simple things like writing a proper essay, doing proper references. It just gives you that extra push. The advice I would give to someone thinking about coming to the ISC, I would say if you really need that extra push to come, they're really helpful. You won't feel out of place. They'll really make you feel at home.
We work on every aspect of preparation for the university. So you've got the transition piece, getting used to the culture, getting used to the environment that you're going to be studying in, and then there's all the academic content as well. So it's a really good way to prepare for university without the pain of just going straight in to those large first-year university classes. You can come to the ISC and it's a little bit more supported.
Okay, so that just gave you a little bit of an idea of what the study centers are. So I'm going to talk to you about the key programs that was mentioned in there and what I mentioned starting the video as well. So there's 3 core types of programs that you can study, or pathway programs that you can do via a pathway provider or international study center. Okay, so you've got the first type, which is the international foundation year. So what this is for those students that have, for example, that don't meet the requirements to enter directly at a university. So for example, students that would have studied the WIAC or IGCSE, they haven't completed a further study beyond that, they will be required to do a foundation year within the UK because the WIAC or the IGCSE is not accepted to go directly into university in the UK. Students generally need to have A-levels or have completed like a 2-year diploma or something like that to be able to go directly into university's first year program. Okay, so if you have just completed a WIAC or IGCSE and you're watching this webinar, then it will be a foundation year that you need to do no matter where you go to. You may be accepted for some international year 1s, which I'll talk you through next, but in general, it will be a foundation year that you have to do if you want to study in a UK university. Reason for this is because the UK education system is 13 years, okay? So with the WIAC, it is 12 years, same with the IGCSE. So you need to do that further year of study to be able to go directly into UK's university's bachelor program. So with the foundation year, it's 1-year program, and then you progress onto your bachelor's. So your bachelor's will be either 3 years, which is the standard bachelor's within the UK, or you'll do like 4 years if you choose to do like an internship, or if you're going for like a program like medicine, which is a little bit longer, so you do 5-year study. But the foundation year is always the 1 year that you do before you join your bachelor's program. Now, as mentioned, with the international study centres, they're pretty much all located on campus or just a short walk away from there. So you will be studying at the university. You'll have all the access as per any other student that's studying there. You'll just be doing your first year of your lectures at the study centre before moving on to the rest of the university's lecture halls. Okay, so the foundation year is generally 3 terms or 2 semesters, as they refer to as, and the main core intakes is September and January. That's for the bulk of our programs. However, we do introduce additional intakes throughout the year. So we have got an intake for any student that might be a bit late and still haven't made their mind. We have got an intake in November that's still coming up. So that's still open to apply to now. And we do introduce some intakes in like March and May throughout the year sometimes as well, depending on the cohort. But the core intakes for most of our programs and universities for the foundation is September and January intake. All students are required to write an IELTS or English test for all of our foundations, barring one. So I'll talk you through how that process works as well. But you do need to meet the minimum English level of a 4.5 minimum to be able to get onto any foundation. Depending on the university and the program, some of them do ask for a higher English level. So for example, if you're going for medicine, you do need to have an English level of a 6.0 or above. And some universities, if it's like higher ranked, you'd be asked to have a higher English level. But the minimum to enter any foundation program in the UK, I know our centers is a 4.5, okay, or equivalent. But we do offer the ELP programs that will help support students. So you can do this for like a 10-week or 20-week program to help support you. The challenge is that what we tend to find is that so students that are from English-speaking countries, so international English-speaking countries, their speaking is generally quite high level, and so is generally their listening, but their reading and writing tends to be where they struggle. Okay, so that's where it's very important that you have to have that level. And that's why some of the centers do ask you to rewrite an English test before you enter, rather than just accepting the WIAC as acceptance, so like a C6 WIAC or C4 above English. Okay. Now, the international year 1 is a bit different to the foundation year. It's because the international year 1 is the equivalent of starting the first year of your study, okay? The only difference between the international year 1 and the first year of a bachelor's degree is that the international year 1 is like a smaller class group, okay? So this tend to be for those students that have completed WIAC and a further year of study. So maybe they started the first year of their bachelor's, or they've done like a 1-year diploma, or maybe even if they've completed all their A-levels and they didn't reach the grades to go directly into their university or their chosen program, those students can do the international year 1. So effectively, they're not doing any further year of study. It'll be 1 year, and then you do the remaining, you'll progress on to year 2 of your degree. A couple of things to highlight about the international year 1 is that it's not available on all programs. So some programs, no matter what happens, if you don't meet the requirements to go direct, you will still need to do the extra year via the foundation. Programs such as like medicine, optometry, dentistry, some of these programs do not have foundation routes. Do not have an international year 1 route. So you will have to do a foundation. And it's same with some universities, they don't offer an international year 1. So generally, like the higher ranked universities, like your Durhams, your Sheffields, those universities don't offer an international year 1. They just offer the foundation. So if you want to go to those universities, even if you've done the further year of studies, then you'll still be required to do a foundation. So it's not on all programs. So depending on what you have and what you're looking to study, when you do speak to the team at Newbie, they will tell you whether you can go for like an international year 1 or whether you have to do the foundation. Okay. Now, in terms of the length of the program, as mentioned, it is 1 year, so it's the same as doing the first year of your program. Even some students that meet directly the requirements to enter directly, some of them do choose to do the international year 1 still. Some parents do choose for their students to do it because, as mentioned, they're not spending any extra time in terms of their studies, the same amount of time of study in the UK. It's just the difference is that it's a smaller class group, so it can be seen as like a soft landing. Because imagine you're going into a new country that you've never studied at, you're going from an international or local curriculum over to the UK curriculum. Sometimes you may find it a little bit difficult. So some students do choose to do this because it's just a smaller class group where you have more touch point time with your actual lecturer, which will set you up for success to proceed on to like year 2 and the rest of your degree. So if you are a student that's on here and you have got like your A-levels, you've got the grades for direct entry, it doesn't necessarily mean you can't do the international year 1. You can still do it even if you meet the direct entry because you're not losing any extra time. Okay. Now, the core intakes for International Year 1 is September and January. We rarely introduce intakes throughout the year for this particular route itself. Sometimes we do, but mostly it will be just the September and January intakes that you can choose from, okay? Students do need to have minimum English level equivalent of a 5.0 in IELTS. Some of our programs, you won't need to write an IELTS if you've got a WIAC. So if it's like an integrated CAS program, which I'll talk you through as well, you won't need to write an IELTS. You can accept a WIAC if it's been completed, English, sorry. If you get a C6 or above within the last 5 years, you can do that. And also for some of our foundation route, or one of our foundation routes, you won't need to write a WIAC as well. But again, Newbie can talk you through that side of things. But again, if you are falling short of the English level, so you can do an English language preparation program as well. Again, these are either 5 weeks or 10 weeks for the International Year 1, which you can do prior to starting the program as well. And this will be done in the UK. And then there's pre-masters. So these are for those students that are further along in their studies. The pre-masters are generally for those that don't meet the entry criteria to go directly into a master's program. For example, those students that's achieved like a 3rd class bachelor's, or those students that are doing HND, so they've got a HND, those are not accepted for direct entry into a master's program. So you'll be required to do a pre-master's. In addition, some students that, if you wanted to go to like some of the higher ranked institutions and do a master's there, some of them will only accept like either a 2nd upper class honors, which is like a 2-1 bachelor's, or like a 1st class bachelor degree. So for those students, even if you've got a 2-2 and you want to go to a high ranked university, so that's a 2nd lower, then you'll need to do pre-masters as well. So again, just to emphasize, it's for those students that don't meet the entry criteria to go into a master's. The one prerequisite is that if you are looking to study a master's, it just needs to be in the same subject. So for example, if you've got a business master's and now you want to go and do nursing, that won't work. You need to have a background in nursing via an academic program to be able to go into a master's if you want to go in that particular route. So it has to be within the same similar program or sort of like subject area. Now, with our pre-master's programs, we do 1, 2, and 3 terms. Majority, the most popular ones are 1-term programs, because it means that you can do your master's and your actual pre-masters within 14 to 15 months within the UK. So that's like a fast track version. Not all universities offer the 1-term pre-masters. Like the higher ranked institutions are normally like 2 or 3-term pre-masters that they do. With the 1-term, it's normally like the fast track, like your mid to lower ranked universities that do that, which are a bit more affordable, and will also provide you almost the same quality of teaching if you just want to cut costs and save on the fees as well. We do offer online options. So we appreciate with pre-masters or master students, some of you do have commitments back home, so you don't want to leave straight away and you just want to be able to start your studies. So at some of our universities, we do offer online pre-masters. And then once you've completed that, you then travel to the UK to complete your masters. So we have those options as well. Most intakes, we've got quite a few intakes throughout the year, but the core ones are January, April, and September. But with pre-masters, we have like a May intake, a March intake. We generally have a lot of intakes for pre-masters for students because there's loads of different variations in terms of the 1-term, 2-term, 3-term options. So again, when you speak to Newbie, they will talk you through what options are available to you. And then with the pre-masters, students are required to have an equivalent of a 5.5 IELTS. Because of the limit in terms of how much of the validity period that we can accept WIAC. So we only can accept it if it's been the WIAC English if it's been completed within the last 5 years for postgraduate programs. Because most of you students that are doing the pre-masters would have done your WIAC more than 5 years ago, you will be really required to write an English test. So you need to write an IELTS to be able to join our program. We can't accept like a letter from employer or anything like that. It will need to be an English test that you provide to us. So this could be the online IELTS. It doesn't need to be the one in the test center. But for our pre-masters, if your WIAC is more than 5 years old in English, then you will need to write an IELTS. And then again, if you do fall short of that mark, then we do provide the English for pre-masters as well. So similar to like what I've mentioned for the other pathways, you can do like a 10-week or 20-week or even like a 5-week one for the pre-masters as well. So you've got 3 variations of what type of top-up English you can do as well. So now I'm just going to go highlight the universities now, just to give you some of the key programs that's offered at each of our universities, just to give you an idea of, okay, if you're looking at a particular one or which ones you might want to go to study your particular chosen subjects, okay? So I'm going to start from the top in terms of our Scottish universities. So the first one is University of Aberdeen. So University of Aberdeen is quite a well-known university in the UK. One of the top 20 universities in the UK, or just outside the top 20 now, as of this year. But a really high-ranked university, world top 160 university, very reputable. It's known as like a full-spectrum university because it has a wide range of programs that you can choose from. It's the only one of 3 universities, that we offer the foundation progression into a Bachelor's of Medicine. So if you're a student and you're looking to study the medicine, which is the MBBS, Bachelor's of Surgery program, Aberdeen is one of the options that we do offer this via the foundation route, okay? We offer all 3 pathway routes there. So you've got your foundation year, which you can choose to go through your programs. We got the international year 1, or year 2, they call it, because the education system is slightly different there, but it's the same as the UK in terms of the time frame of study. So if you're doing a pathway, so you've got the international year 2, and then you've got the pre-masters programs as well, okay? Some programs are only on the foundation. So as mentioned earlier, like medicine is only via foundation. You can't do it via like an international year 1 or anything like that. But they have got really good life sciences programs. If you want to go and study like anything in regards to like engineering, the engineering school is quite good as well. They've got options there as well, like petroleum, energy, etc. They've got really good a school to support you with that. The next school is University of Strathclyde. So this is our second partner within Scotland, located in Glasgow. The university is very well known for business programs. They've got a really fantastic pre-masters routes as well. This is one of the universities that offers the accelerated pre-masters, so the short-term pre-masters. So it allows you to complete your whole masters fairly quickly. It is a popular destination for generally in the region. We do get quite a few applications for Strathclyde because their business school is really good. So it's one of the highest ranked business schools within the UK. They've got really good partnerships with a lot of employers there. So it really does support you in terms of like potentially getting like an internship or like a job after completing your studies as well. They're also really good in terms of their engineering partnerships as well. So you can see some of the companies that's quoted in terms of their partnerships. So you've got GlaxoSmithKline, otherwise known as GSK, Shell, Boeing, Rolls-Royce. They've got a really good, strong partnerships because in Glasgow, a lot of companies, they generally have an office that's in like London, and then they have one in Scotland, and Glasgow is the place where a lot of like the top blue chip companies around the world have a head office located as well. So that's why they've got those really strong partnerships for any students that want to study along their business or even their engineering routes as well. Again, similar to Aberdeen, they have got their foundation year, the international year routes, as well as the pre-masters as well that you can choose from, with the online pre-masters option as well at Strathclyde. One of the options that are quite popular and grown in popularity as well at Strathclyde is their education studies. So any students that want to go and become a teacher and do your education or PGCE, they do offer it. It's one of a few schools in the UK that we work with that offer it via the pre-masters pathway. So if you want to do a PGCE, Strathclyde is one of the options you may want to look at. And then moving down to the other universities located so this is in England now, the rest of England and Wales, The first one is Cardiff University. So Cardiff University is the second of our 3 universities that offer the pathway to medicine. So again, if you're looking for the Bachelor's of Medicine, the MBBS program, then this is the university that you may want to look at. You've also got, it's the only university now that we do offer the progression to dentistry. So we were offering at Sheffield, but the rules have changed. It's only available for QAT sponsored students now. So the university does no longer accept students for the pathway of dentistry outside of that country now. So this will be the only one if you want to study dentistry. Cardiff will be the only one that we do have that option currently available. We are looking at launching it at other universities, but for now, for this upcoming academic year, it'll be Cardiff if you want to do dentistry. Some of the things just to highlight about the medicine and dentistry routes is that every university within the UK has a limit on how many students they can accept for medicine or dentistry, okay? So when it comes to the actual degree itself, they have a limit on how many students they can accept. Some universities may accept loads on the pathway, but there'll be a limit on how many students can actually progress, even if all of them pass. So that's one thing to just highlight for you, okay? It is a very competitive program to get onto. So medicine, dentistry, those routes are 5-year programs for your bachelor's. With your foundation, it's 6 years in total study. And they ask students to have A grades for chemistry and 2 other sciences. plus a B+ average across the rest of your studies, okay? Some universities in UK actually don't even accept, don't even do a foundation program, and they will only accept A-level students with A grades across the board. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you're looking to do medicine or dentistry, you need to get your applications in as early as possible. And just, there are other routes you can do, like biomedicine, biomedical sciences, other biosciences that you can choose to do if you don't qualify for medicine. And these routes, once you complete your degree, can actually retrack around to medicine as well. So if you haven't got the grades that I've just mentioned now, don't be alarmed. There is other routes into medicine, but it's just a longer period of study if you want to do it as well. But that's just some of the key things to highlight. So there's limited on spaces. Most universities tend to have anything between 4 up to 10 spaces. For pathway, you tend to find that some universities will offer like 20 spaces for pathway, but only like 10 students can progress from there. So just keep those in mind if that's the type of program you're looking at studying, okay? Now with Cardiff, we do offer international year 1, obviously not for medicine, as mentioned, that's not available on any international year 1. It is one of the only universities that we do work with that offer this. It's actually the only university that we offer international year 1 into law. So if you're looking to study law and you've done like a further year of study after your WIAC, then this will be one of the universities. This will be the university you can look at to do an international year 1 program if you want to do law. Okay, and we do offer the pre-masters as well. That's available for any students that want to study there. So just a fun thing just to highlight, Cardiff is a Russell Group university. So many of you probably know what that is, but for those of you that don't, the Russell Group is a group of top 24 research-led universities in the UK. So these universities receive like approximately about 80% of the funding that goes towards all research in the UK. For example, like when the COVID struck, the governments will turn to like your Ivy Leagues in the US, or your Russell Group in the UK, or your Group of 8, which is located in located in Australia, to do the research to develop those things. So these are our partners from the UK wise. These are the ones that are partnered with, like, or amongst the group that's with like Oxford and your Cambridge. So Cardiff is one of those Russell Group universities in the UK. Okay. Now there's Durham. So Durham is our highest ranked institution that we work with in the UK. A World Top 100 university, currently ranked 6th in the UK. Pretty much 95% of their programs are ranked in the top 10 in the UK. So this is a really good university. Again, it competes with your Cambridge, your St. Andrews, your Oxfords as well. This is a really strong university. So it's for those students that are really high achievers. They want to go to the highest ranked. You can see the fees displayed on the slide. So the higher the ranked university, the more expensive it's going to be to study there. A couple of key programs to shout about at Durham University, first of all, is their business and their business school and their law school. So the business school in Durham University is again one of the top ranks within the UK, and not just the UK but around the world. And the same with their law program. So the law program, because of how high ranked it is, there is a cap on how many students can actually be accepted onto their law program because it's so popular across the world. So again, if you're a student, a budding lawyer, you want to go to like one of those reputable top ranked law schools, this will be one of the universities you may want to look towards going to. Okay. Now with Durham, they don't offer any international year 1 route, so it'll be only foundation or pre-masters as a route for you if you need to do a pathway program to join the university. The next university is University of Leeds. Again, very popular university, particularly in Nigeria. And we've got a lot of a strong Nigerian cohort of students that go there. It's a really good sort of diverse university student body as well. The university really focuses a lot on like their business and their engineering. They do have law as well, but those are some of the key programs. So their business school and their engineering schools are some of the top ranked as well. Leeds as a city is a fantastic city, one of the largest within the UK, and is also one of the more affordable universities. So it's almost like studying in London, but just a little bit more affordable than London. So it is a great option. Again, as mentioned, it's a part of the Russell Group as well. For Leeds, we do not offer pre-masters. So we do actually offer the foundation and international year 1, but if you're a student that wants to do like a master's, then you need to do a pre-master's. You can't do that through us anyway. We don't offer a pre-master's at University of Leeds. So you have to qualify for direct entry and you apply directly to the university if that's what you want to do when you study there. And then there's University of Sheffield, again, another Russell Group university, very well known for like their engineering, computer sciences schools. So they've got a wide range of programs within those subjects. like robotics, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity. They've got a fantastic range of programs there. I was actually at Sheffield last month. I was actually at Sheffield on their campus, just doing a tour of the students, just speaking to some of our international students, just to see their experiences. And it's just an amazing place. Every student loves it there. It's got one of the best the best student union over the past 8 years running. Really huge, really supportive for all international students there. You go there and you'll find any type of society, whether it's cooking, you find a chessboard society. There's a wide range of societies that you can join. It's just a great place for students. And as I mentioned, the engineering schools where they have their strong focus on. They've got a building called the Diamonds there, where they do all of their engineering programs. They even do like water engineering, any type of engineering, you'll find that they have it there within engineering or physics. It's just a fantastic place for students there. And some of the actual societies, so they've got this society called the Forge, which is where students go to, like, if you want to create like various different products or like anything to do with like developing a particular product. This is actually ran by students as well. So you can go there and you get help with anything. Like I went there and students were making like keychains, key rings. Another student lost his bottle cap and they recreated his bottle cap inside the Forge. So they've got all these really good supportive things that they can help you with there. But it's a really good experience to study at University of Sheffield. Now with Sheffield, we've only got the international foundation year and the pre-masters route. So there's no international year one route, but they've got a wide range of programs within those subject areas, whether it be like business, sciences, humanities, etc. They've got a wide range of subjects that you can study there as well. And then you've got Lancaster University. So Lancaster University, again, another highly ranked university. It's not a part of the Russell Group, but in terms of their program rankings, they do compete against Durham in terms of their academic standing. So it's a really good university you can choose from. In terms of where it's located, so Lancaster is quite a quiet town where it's located. So you tend to find that almost everything is on campus rather than like walking out into like a busy high street. You won't have that generally in Lancaster. So it's more quiet, but it's a really good location for those students that just want to they don't really care about being in a big city. They want to be somewhere a little bit more quiet. So this is one of the locations you may want to go to. They're generally quite ranked quite highly across the board in all subjects. So whether that be your computer science, your law, your business, life sciences, etc., they have got all of those programs as well. Okay, so you've got your foundation year or your pre-masters that you can choose from to progress on to if you need to do a pathway. Just one thing that I forgot to highlight earlier, when it comes to your foundation or your pathway programs, you might have noticed that there's a lot of subject routes that's mentioned within the actual on the slides here. So with those are just a general subject route. So when you do a pathway program at a university, whether it be like a pre-masters or foundation, you will see that the pathway itself is a general pathway. So it'd be like a business management and engineering pathway, or business management, social sciences. Like you tend to find that the pathway is quite general. So you'll be amongst, in your first year or your first term at least, you'll be amongst students that are going into different program routes from within those subject areas. Okay, and then when you get into your second term, that's when you focus more on your particular progression subject, and then you move into your subject once you progress from your actual pathway program. So when you are applying, you're not going to be applying directly, unless it's medicine, because they have like actually a medicine pathway. But when you're applying, if you're going, for example, international marketing, for example, you'll be going on the business and management foundation. But within that, you have international marketing that you could progress onto. So that's generally how pathway programs work. If you're ever unsure about the subjects, you might think, looking at it and think, oh, there's only limited subjects. No, it's just the core programs, and then you have your progressions to the wide range that you can go to. So then moving on, we've got University of Huddersfield. So University of Huddersfield is the only university that we work with that we offer the pathway to nursing and midwifery. So if you're a student that's interested in doing a bachelor's in nursing or midwifery, so we don't offer it at master's level, it's only at bachelor's level. If you're looking to do that, then this will be the only university that we do work with that offers the foundation program progressing onto it, okay? University of Huddersfield is a university that's been growing continuously in the rankings. It is very popular, probably our most popular university out of all of our partners for students studying from Nigeria, not just Nigeria, but sub-Saharan Africa. Reason being is because it is ranked TEF Gold, so it is one of the, it is really known for academic excellence. At the same time, it's one of our most affordable universities that you can go to. So you can see from the fees, this is our fees before any scholarships are applied as well. So you can see they're a lot more affordable than the universities that I have mentioned prior as well, and some of the ones that I'm going to mention afterwards as well. So it is a great university you can study at, very diverse and a wide range of employment opportunities that you can go through from the university itself. So I said there is one of our most popular, sorry, not one of them, it is our most popular university for students from sub-Saharan Africa. So we do offer international year one there as well. So that's mainly for like business, marketing, management, engineering routes like computer sciences, life science, not life sciences, sorry, but like computer cybersecurity or computer engineering. We do offer those routes via the international year one as well. And then the pre-masters is mainly focused on your business routes, like your marketings, your international businesses, accounting and finance. That's what it mainly focuses on, okay? And then the next university is Leeds Beckett. So Leeds Beckett University is pretty much located around 5 to 10 minutes walk from University of Leeds. So when you're actually doing a pathway program, whether you're going to University of Leeds or you're going to Leeds Beckett, it will all be done on Leeds Beckett's campus because they're so close. The agreement we made with the university is that we have all our students doing pathways on just one of your campuses, okay? So Leeds Beckett is basically just like a lower ranked version of Leeds, a little bit more affordable version. We offer pretty much the same programs. So if you're going for the foundation year or international year one, you have the same programs. The only program that they don't offer, which Leeds offer via the international year one, is the biological sciences. But like your business routes, engineering routes, etc., they all are available the same as it available through Leeds. So if you don't meet the grades to go Leeds, you can actually go to Leeds Beckett. They have similar partnerships as well. So in terms of like the businesses that operate in the area, like your manufacturers, etc., they have got those partnerships the same as Leeds. So there's a wide range of placements. So if you're really looking for like an internship whilst you're studying, or like a work placement for a year whilst you're studying, then this is a great university to go to that's a bit more affordable than going to like one of the roster groups in University of Leeds. And then there's Liverpool John Moores. So Liverpool John Moores University, so with Liverpool, first of all, sorry, the city is the 4th largest city within the UK. There are 3 core universities located there. So you've got your University of Liverpool, which is a roster group. You've got Liverpool Hope, and then you've got Liverpool John Moores. Those are the 3 core universities within the city. So you can see the city is quite a student-centric one. So you'll see that you'll do events, or you'll be mixed in societies with other universities. The other universities there, you'll do a lot of like mixed activities as well. So the city is generally like a student city because of the 3 large universities that's located there. In terms of the cost of living again, with Liverpool is quite a lot more affordable than London as well. But I said it's a little bit more expensive than Leeds because it's a bigger city, but there is options there that are really supportive of international students in terms of cost of living and fees reductions as well. The key programs that they're focused on is mainly their engineering, architecture, hospitality, as well as sports science. So their sports sciences school, their facilities is one of the highest ranked or one of the best facilities within the UK. So I don't know if any of you watch Premier League football, but if you do, if you know about Liverpool and Everton Football Club, that's located in Merseyside, they actually all do their medicals at Liverpool John Moores. Even though there's a Russell Group University down the road, they do at Liverpool John Moores because their facilities are one of the highest. So if there's any students that are wanting to study like sports management, sports sciences, etc., which is quite a niche subject, then Liverpool John Moores is one of the top universities you can actually go to study that particular subject. So we offer the international foundation route, as well as the international year one and the pre-masters. So you've got a wide range of programs that you can choose from, a wide range of routes that you can go through as well at Liverpool John Moores. And this is the university where we get a majority of our students for pre-masters. So either they go to Liverpool John Moores, Huddersfield, or one of our other partners called Teesside, which I have, because they have the fast track pre-masters. Obviously Strathclyde is one of those as well, but they have the fast tracks pre-masters, and it's the most affordable pre-masters route that you can do in the UK.
Hi, Wistin. Sorry to cut in. I was actually, hello, can you hear me, Wistin?
Yes, I can hear you, yes.
So I was actually thinking that we can take the questions that we have.
Sure.
Yeah, so that, because I see some people already leaving, so let's just take the questions in the chat box.
Yeah, sure. So move on to the questions, no problem at all. So that's fine. I will go on to this now.
Okay, so someone was actually, okay, someone said, like to talk about US. Sorry, I'm just going. I like to know what's obtainable in the US in terms of jobs opportunities after one completes his graduate studies, considering you still be on F1 visa. I don't know if you want to talk about USA.
Yeah, so actually my colleague Greta is the one that covers the US. I only focus on the UK or EU. So in terms of the job, it will be her that you need to speak to. So if you want, I can take your details and then I can set up a call with Greta. But my focus is on the UK or the EU rather than the US on this one. So we're not going to go with you going through US on this presentation.
Yeah, okay. So the second question will be, okay, same thing. This is also talking about US and requirements for master's program in the US, Canada. Okay,
Yeah.
so for those
I think
asking about US, you can just, I'll give you my contact details. You can get in touch with me and we can discuss US.
I'll just
Then
give
the
you a
other
quick.
person-
So if you,
okay,
I'll
please
just,
go on.
Yeah, sorry, I'll just mention in terms of the US first of all, because I know obviously a lot of students are interested in the US. A couple of key things to highlight. Okay, first of all, if we go on to fees, okay, if you haven't looked at other destinations, you'll see that the US is a lot more expensive than other international destinations. You might find Canada might be a little bit cheaper, but it's a lot more expensive than the UK or even Australia, even though Australia's expensive. So you need to think about the fees as well. Yes, although they do offer good scholarships, the scholarships are really good because it looks good because of the fees are high. But you may find even in Europe, if you want to go somewhere in Europe, you might find it's a little bit more affordable. The other thing is in terms of the visa. To get a visa to go to the US is a lot more difficult to get a visa to go to other destinations as well. So that's something to keep into account. Now, obviously, it's a great destination, don't get me wrong, for students. As mentioned, we do work with 9 universities there, and we do get a lot of applications. But one thing we do tend to see a bit of a challenge, particularly from Nigeria, is the visas, where there's a difficulty in terms of attaining that. So when you are looking at the US, do look at other alternative options as well, just as a backup if US is your key destination you want to go to. Now, in terms of our minimum acceptance for our bachelors, because we do direct entry to the US as well, we tend to accept a minimum like 2.5 GPA as a borderline to go through for like our bachelors, and then going into like your masters, you're looking at like a 3.0 or above GPA to get into it. But your bachelors, so you're looking at like a first or second upper bachelors to go directly onto like a master's program in the US. Some universities we can accept like a second lower to go into the master's, so that would be like a 2.75 GPA, but you'll be entering, because remember the masters are 2 years there as well. So in the UK where it's 1 year, the US is 2-year masters, and their bachelors are 4 years as opposed to 3 years in the UK. So I just wanted to highlight that. Sorry, we can continue with questions.
Yeah, thank you. And then when you mentioned that the CGPA is 3.0 for masters, please note that that 3.0 is over 4.0, not over 5 that we have in Nigeria. So that you just understand what you mean. Okay, so another thing here is, can we get the slides? I believe you can share that with me, right?
Yes, I'll share the slides with you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you have partners in Canada?
With study group, no, we don't have partners in Canada. So it's UK, US, Australia, 1 in Ireland, so that's UCD, and then 3 in Holland.
Okay. At Toyin, please, you can get in touch with me. We have other investors in Canada that we may be able to work with. Then what could be the possible reasons for someone to be rejected admission, even in foundation program?
So rejected admission. So it just being, so to get, it's very difficult to get rejected, to be honest. It's easier to get accepted. But as if, for example, you don't have the minimum grades. So for the minimum, so for like a Teesside or like Huddersfield, which are mid to lower ranked universities, we can accept 4 A to C grades at WIAC. Okay. So that's 4 grades or 4 subjects ranked A1 to C6 we can accept for you to enter on that, okay? It's just that it needs to be the relevant subjects for some particular subjects. For example, if you're looking to do computer science, they will ask you to have mathematics out as one of those 4 subjects. If you're looking to do engineering, they only ask you to have mathematics and physics as one of those subjects, okay? So generally we'll accept a minimum 4 at our lower ranked universities. At the other ones that are a little bit more higher ranked, above like your Darwins, etc., it will be 5 subjects ranked A1 to C6. And if you don't achieve that, then you won't be accepted, unfortunately. So that's the minimum requirement.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I just sent a message to the person. You can send in your documents for assessments. Let's see what has gone wrong, and we can actually help you put in another application. Okay, someone else is asking another question.
I did get a
Please, can you
direct
share the
question. If I can
No.
answer that one.
Someone said, can you share the requirements for BSc in software engineering?
So a
Then
BSc
what-
in software engineering, it depends on what you study. If it's WIAC that you've done, they will ask you to have computer science and physics, minimum C grade, and then 3 other subjects of a minimum C grade. So 5 subjects you need to have between A and C grade, with maths and physics being 2 of them, if you've done WIAC.
Okay, I think I missed this question. What university option would be good for computer science, software engineering specifically?
Yeah, so it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for like the top rank, a high rank institution, so you're more focused on ranking rather than price, then University of Sheffield is a good one. Durham is a good one as well. And Cardiff, those are probably the 3 top ones that we do have. If you're more focused on affordability, then Teesside will be the most popular option. So they do offer computer science and software engineering. For their fees, you're looking at around 10,500 for their foundation. And then when you progress on to your actual bachelor's, it's £14,500 per year. So that will be the most affordable option that we have if you're going into those routes. But if you're looking mainly on just rank, then Sheffield, out of all of those, will probably be the top one.
Yeah. Okay, so someone else is saying, I learned that studying in UK does not guarantee you a permanent residence after study. So what can someone do to get permanent residence after study? This is from Sergio.
So studying doesn't guarantee you permanent residence within the UK. So you can, so if you graduate, when you graduate, you can apply to get a postgraduate visa, okay, which will give you 2 years to stay within the UK, where you find a job, do voluntary work, internships, etc. Then after that, once you find a full-time job, you need that job to be able to sponsor you and give you a work visa, which most will do if you're qualified and you've been accepted for work there. Now, in the UK, as it currently stands, after being on a work visa and working there, like paying your taxes, etc., for 5 years, you can start to apply for citizenship within the UK. Now, obviously, those rules are subject to change. Government's always changing. I mean, the UK government's been up and down recently in terms of who's the Prime Minister. But yes, there is ways to work towards it. So that's what the postgraduate work visa or postgraduate route has been introduced for students that's completed their bachelor's. But it's not guaranteed. Obviously, they can reject, etc. But you have to basically do your graduation, you do your post-study work visa, you then show at least 5 years of working, paying taxes, and then they'll start to look at potentially applying for citizenship with us, with the UK, sorry.
Okay,
May I say that it's not guaranteed anywhere. It's not only UK. There's no guarantee anywhere. Correct. You have to follow the procedure and the processes.
100%, yeah. So it's not guaranteed in any country to get permanent citizenship at all.
Thank you, Ma. Okay, so what university is best in the UK in terms of human kinetics master's program?
For human kinetics, did you say?
Yeah. Yes.
So we actually don't offer that via our pre-master's routes. So we don't offer human kinetics. So that wouldn't be something that we do. If you're looking to apply directly, you'll have to look at alternative options within the UK outside of Cut Study Group. Speak to the team at Newbie, and then they can look through all their partners. So I'm sure you're aware we're not the only partner of Newbie. They have a wide range of universities they work with. So they may have options for human kinetics, but nothing through study group, not at pre-master's level anyway.
At Basit, please, I will send my my contact details. You can get in touch with me after. So do you have any other? Tunji Tuchin asking about getting admission. Yes, we do help. I'll also send our contact for you to get in touch with us. Rashid, yes, we have Netherlands. And how can I send? I'll send my document. I'll send my email address so you can send all your documents to us. iPhone, please, what are the requirements to study law in Canada? What is the best university for the course? Sorry, let me just take this. Please, this person should also get in touch with me. I don't know if you're talking about master's level or undergrad. So there are so many things attached to studying law and medicine.
Can I take
Yes,
that
ma.
question,
Yes, please go ahead,
Christiana?
ma.
Well, yeah, when
Yes,
we are
ma'am.
talking about law, Canada is not an option. If you want to study law, your best option is the UK because our law is fashioned after the British law, and law is not a first degree in Canada. You have to do first degree first before you do law in Canada.
Thank you, ma. Okay. I used to go. Sorry, ma. Sorry to cut in.
No, it's okay. I'm just saying for law, US and Canada is not, law is not a first degree in US and Canada. So we always advise UK for law.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So, Senior Joe, what are the reasons one should consider pre-masters?
So in terms of the pre-masters, okay, it's for students that don't meet the requirements to go directly into a master's program. So for example, if you've got a H&D or third class in bachelor's, or even if you're going to like a higher ranking institution that requires a 2-1, which is an upper second class honors or first class degree, bachelor's degree, you will be required to do a pre-masters. So it's based on what your academics are. So if you meet the requirements to go direct entry, then by all means go directly into a master's program because it's just 1 year in the UK. But if you don't, then you'll have to do a pre-master. So it's based on what your current studies is and your academic standing.
Thank you. Can someone who has a master's apply for another master's in the UK, especially in chemistry or chemical engineering? Do they give partial funding or full funding? How can one who intends to sponsor himself get a job that allows him to pay his school fees instrumentally, by installment?
So firstly, in terms of the can you do another degree in the UK or master's? Yes, you can do another master's as long as you've got an explanation as to if you're changing subject, the reason why you're changing, but you apply directly and that's down to the university that you're applying to, okay? So there's no restrictions. It's not like in Australia. So if you're looking for like Australia as an option as well, in Australia, you can't go backwards. So if you've got a master's, you can't then apply to do another master's. They don't allow that on the education system, but the UK does allow you to do that. So you can do another master's there, okay? Now going into funding, we don't provide any full scholarships, okay? Any university in the UK you go to, most of them won't provide any full scholarships. You'll find partial scholarships. So these will range. So if for like our pathway programs, for example, we provide scholarships ranging from 10 to 20%. And then when it comes to your direct entry, so when you're doing your bachelor's or your master's, then some universities don't provide any scholarships. Some will provide anything from like 10 upwards to 50%, but you won't find any full funding. If you are looking to become a sponsored student or something like that, then that'll be something that you sort out on your own. So maybe you might have like, if you get sponsorship from like a government sponsor, or if there's like a company that might do a sponsor for students from within the region, that's something that you will do. So that's not something that the UK will provide to you via a university. So we'll provide you the fees or the tuition, etc., of what the course program starts. And then if you haven't got the funds and you're looking for sponsorship, that's something you'll have to search for yourself. But it's not something that the university will do. Okay. Sorry, was there another part to that question there that I missed?
I think you've answered. You just said, how can one who intend to sponsor himself get a job that allows him to pay his installments? So I think you've already answered that. So another question says, I have someone holding OND and she's looking for admission in Netherlands with scholarship, full or partial. Rashid, please get in touch with me on that. We don't have full scholarship. I think the person has to make more research. Then Tunji, which course is ideal for master's program with a bachelor's degree in botany?
So what was the subject that they've done a bachelor's in?
Botany.
Sorry, did you say botany?
Yes, please.
I'm not sure what botany is. I don't. Can you write out for me? Or
I think that depends on what they've done. Do you still have experience in the same course, or have you done something outside botany? If you've done something outside and you want to look into something entirely different from that, then yes, you can, and then you just need to write a personal statement that shows your interest in the new subject. So master's degree actually depends on what you've done outside, and then if you are interested in something entirely different from your undergraduate degree, it's fine. You just need to show that you have work experience and that you have good interest in it. Then sorry, Ruben, I can see your hand is up. Do you mind unmuting yourself? Ruben Victor. Winston, is that fine by you, Kani?
Yeah, so I just wanted to add to that, that yes, you can change a subject. However, there still need to be some sort of modules or something that you've done related to it, okay? Because there are some universities in UK who are quite specific about their master's program, particularly if you have to do a pre-master's, because they will ask you to have done like academic studies within that area. But like for something like a business or like education, some of them can accept if you've done the work experience there, but you've done like a degree that's slightly different. But it's when it comes to more bespoke specific degrees, like if you're going towards like a medicine master's or something in those, because they're so specific in terms of the subject, they do ask you, because otherwise you'll struggle if you haven't got a background in like medicine and then you want to do it and you've only done like business. So they are quite specific on that. So that's one thing to check with the university, but a strong personal statement does back it up. But as I said, generally in most cases, it's a lot easier to get accepted if you've done something or some form of academics within that particular subject you're applying to. You know?
Okay. How many years is BSc Software Engineering in the UK? I believe that's 3 years.
Correct. Yes, the BSc or the BEng in engineering is 3 years, and then you can choose to do like an MEng, which will be 4 years, and
4 years.
that's the minimum. Yeah.
Okay. Then please, I would like to apply for master's program in UK. I have bachelor's degree in human anatomy, and I have 2.9 as my CGPA. Which course can I apply for with my CGPA, and what help can you render? And the school to drop my application, please. At Folashade, I think a 2.9 CGPA is over 5, and that's year 2.2. So I'm sure some schools can still accept you. And if you are looking at the top ranked universities, that's when study group can come in. So you can do a pre-master's in any of the study group college. To be able to get into those documents for application, we can see which university. Can you give me?
This is to inform me of being selected in our.
Can you give idea of along with family of 4? Any?
Is the sound breaking or is it me? Is it my signal?
This is to inform you of being selected in our remote internship international development practice. We are participating in related work experience in development, best practice, and implementation of donor projects.
Sorry, I'm a bit lost here. The signal is broken up. Where are we?
Yeah, I think Ruben was talking, but
okay.
The network was breaking.
Can you say that again, please, Ruben? Or did you have a question?
His hand is still raised, so I believe he has a question. Ruben, please, can you take your question again? Okay, so when he's ready, you can send it on.
Yeah, okay.
Tunji, please, can you get in touch with me on this estimated funding with a family of 4, so that we can have an idea of what you're talking about. Okay, do we still have more questions? If there are more questions, you can send them to the chat box.
There was a question on dependents. I think, did we answer that one about funding?
Right. So the person is asking, can you give idea of estimated fund needed to study in the UK going along with family of 4?
Okay, so first of all, so to be able to take your family, you need to be on a postgraduate program, okay? That is at least a minimum of 9 months long. So if you're doing a pre-masters, it needs to be a pre-master that has an integrated CAS, so whereby the visa is joined together. So because some pre-masters is separate, so you get a separate CAS for the pre-masters, and then you get one for your masters. So it needs to be integrated if you do a pre-masters. Now, in terms of the funding for yourself as a student, okay, you will need to provide, if you're studying within a London university, you need to provide basically £1,334 times by the length of study of your program. So because it has to be minimum 9 months. So you're going to be looking at around just over £12,000 inside London for yourself. And outside of London, you'll need to provide £1,027, if I'm trying to off my head. But yeah, it'd be around £9,207 that you need to provide if it's a school outside of London for yourself as proof of fees. This is separate, proof of funding, sorry. So this is separate from any tuition. So if there's any outstanding tuition, you need to add that on top of those maintenance fees. For your dependents now, depending on if they're adults or if they're children, for adults, it's around just over £850 times by the 9 months that you have them. Okay, and then you'll have to provide for children is around £640, I believe, off head, for children, and you need to provide that times by the 9 months as well. So realistically, if you've paid all your fees before traveling and you're going to a school outside of London, you need to provide 9,207 for yourself. Plus, if you do 800 times by 9, let's call it just under, say around, say eight grand. Just say call under around the 8 grand. Might as well say that you need to provide for an adult dependent, and then for children you need to provide around around 6 grand that you need to provide for the child dependent. So that's proof of studies that you need to provide, and that's for each dependent. So each dependent that's over that's adult, classified as an adult, so that's over 18, you need to provide 8 grand, call it, for each of those dependents as proof of studies. But when we get to that stage, there's a lot more information that needs to be gone, a lot more that you need to do before we get to that stage. So Nubi will be able to talk you through that. I don't expect you to remember everything that I've just mentioned right now, but that's just a rough idea. All right.
Yeah. Someone asked a question about PhD, but I'm not sure you're able to take that. So
unfortunately, yeah, we don't do the PhDs.
Yeah. So the person should also get in touch with me. My chat.
I have responded. I've responded to that person.
All right, ma. Thank you, ma. So do we have more questions? I believe this is quite informative. Thank you, Westin.
You're welcome.
Okay, so
Westin, you've been exhausted.
Ben is able...
You really have been exhausted.
No, that's fine. I'm sure if there's anyone here that has any more questions at all, then the team at Nubi are really supportive. They'll be able to help you. Maybe you might want to set up, if you want to set up like a one-to-one call alongside Nubi and myself, we can sort of do sort out arranging that with them as well. But the key thing is when you're ready to do your applications, please do contact Nubi. They'll be the ones that do the application process. They support you through the whole process with us as well. Especially when it comes to like getting your offer letters, for us to put your scholarship on your offer letter as well. If you are attaining one, then we can help you, or they can help you out there as well. So.
Yeah, so I have a private message that says I'm having an OND in quantity survey. How can I apply for any school in the UK or Europe to further my education? Yeah,
so with the OND, because it it would have been 2 years that you did for your OND, because you're kind of in a peculiar place at the moment. All right, so With yourself, because you're pretty much above foundation level, okay? But at the same time, you're kind of above international year one level. So if you're starting again, like for example, if you go for international year one, you'll be starting from the beginning of a bachelor's, so it'll be 3 years. But you may be able to find top-up programs in the UK where you can pretty much go and then do like a shorter term study, like maybe 1 or 2 years, which can turn that into equivalent of like a bachelor's degree. But the one thing about top-up is that the UK is not very big on top-up programs. There's not many of them available, you see. So most best scenario will be to start from the international year one level. So you'll be doing like a 3-year bachelor's. But I said, if you speak to the team at Newbie, they'll be able to talk you through your options, because with an OND, because you've pretty much done white plus 2 years, you're kind of above the foundation and above the international year one, but not high enough to be able to do like a pre-masters. So you're in between. Is that all the questions?
Folashade Lawal, I've sent my contact, so you can just get in touch with me. I think it's best to talk outside here. I'd like to start from bachelor's degree. No problem, Henry. Please, you can drop your contact or you can reach me on the number I sent to the chat box. I'm sending it again now, so we can take it off from there. So let's just allow maybe 1 or 2 minutes to see if there's another question before we hand off. Is there any other question, please? Okay, no problem. So I think I just allow me. All right, so if there are no questions, if you have further questions, you can always send them to info@Newbie Education, or you can always reach us. So I think we've come to the end of this meeting. Thank you, Wisting, for the information you've provided us with, and I'm sure that it was very, very informative. And thank you everyone for joining us today. We really appreciate your presence. Bye everyone.
Thank you everyone. And thank you for allowing me to join. Thanks, Rose, Christiana, Tayo. Appreciate your support.
Thank you, Wisting. It was a good presentation and very informative. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. You're welcome.